shoes the shout out they deserve.
Their shine.
Literally shine. Like, I mean.
Oh my! Are those bedazzled?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes.
And before we had these mics, we had the mics on mic stands.
Oh, my mic stand is over there.
The base, she bedazzled with
base.
black.
Yeah.
That takes time.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, she was.
Wow,
Listen,
that's
she was there.
right there.
And welcome, if
Did
you're
they
still
miss
following us,
Right?
if you're
Did
still
they leave
following
us?
yeah. Welcome back to the Rally Black Project with Crystal and John.
As you can probably
We
tell,
took
we're
a-
still
Yeah, we took a hiatus, not because we wanted to.
unplanned.
A lot of travel, not a lot of travel. We went to Vegas.
Vegas kind of put us on our ass.
Yeah.
It wasn't really Vegas. I think it was just the traveling part and germs and
I mean, it's also a weakened immune system from drinking more
for 3 days when we don't really drink anymore.
Exactly. You know,
Yeah.
that was 10 years ago that we got married. Not 3.
No.
We partied like
Yeah.
we were 10 years younger.
It was great though. It was fun. We'll talk about all the details.
So I say that
in the
to
life
say
update.
that her cough is, see, there it is. It's back. It said hi. So there'll be cough breaks. in
Yeah.
this.
Sorry.
Yeah. And for me too. So, do we have any business? Yes, of course we have business. This show sponsored.
What?
And sponsor. I was gonna say, do we have any but yeah, sponsor.
Oh, okay. You threw me off with
Yeah,
it.
no. I was about to go into our guest, but I'm like, no, we got a sponsor. I just hear them. I just hear them.
The crackling?
Hopefully I hear them fast forwarding and not like stopping it and moving on.
Yeah. You might have to do some editing magic. All right. The
Katie.
podcast is sponsored by Katie with Monarch Pine. She's giving all of our listeners 10% off with code Riley Black. So head to her Etsy, monarchpine.etsy.com.
That's right.
I got it out.
You got it out. Perfect. I mean, I got you all the way up until where to go. Because that whole .etsy.com, it's a lot of...
What?
Huh? No, like I could have done it up until the where they have to go to.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Thanks, Katie, though.
Yes. Thank you, Katie. Well, our guest today, if you've been in the groups, you know that we have a member in there that's not necessarily...
He's not a laser guy.
Not
yet.
But he does... He's had some laser experience.
Yeah.
But just because he's not laser... He has a epoxy shop. They do countertops and garage floors and anything really.
Yeah.
Epoxy. And I was telling him, we tried to do over the pandemic. We bought the canvases and everything because we wanted to do like an acrylic pour.
Oh yeah.
Kind of thing. But we never did it.
I did do an acrylic pour on my desks though.
Oh, that's right.
I did 3 dirty pour custom.
That's right. You did.
Yeah, with acrylic paint, not epoxy, but acrylic. Yeah,
acrylic. Yeah. So that kind of dabbles in. But welcome to the show, new friend of the show,
right?
Kevin from Sledge Epoxy Worx. How's it going?
I'm like, you can't mess this one up.
Right. How's it going?
Hey, John. Hey, Crystal. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing all right.
Good. And thank you for the hat.
Yes.
Of course.
That embroidery is really cool.
Yeah.
Like, for one, I was telling John the other day, well, yesterday, when he got home from your house, that I really love your logo and I want to make you a sign. I hate signs, so that means a lot that I want to actually make you a sign.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Crystal. The hats I'm getting from a company I found online. They're a small business. They're kind of breaking out more into the bigger business now. I mean, they're still a small business, but hatlaunch.com.
Okay.
So it's just it's. I've gone through a couple of different hat making companies, and try and screen print, and some of the embroidery, and I didn't like them.
Yeah.
But those people, they really have an understanding, and they do their own podcasts, and they do a lot of marketing and video and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, and they give discounts for people that, refer them and, returning customers and stuff like that. So, but the logo I actually created about a year and a half ago, almost 6 months before I started my business.
Nice.
Some people think it's a snake. Some people think it's a worm or a lizard or something.
Yeah.
It's a graffiti S.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, thank you for having me on the show. I appreciate it, and I'm really looking forward to this. John, thank you for coming out and helping me with the filming and whatnot. I'm really looking forward to the video.
Yeah.
How it turned.
Yeah. So
tell them, because I'm struggling here.
yes,
Tell them how we met.
So
Kevin.
I met Kevin at a networking, a realtor networking meeting. It was an after dark, and after hours, not after dark. After dark is our
Right.
podcast. It was an after hours networking meeting, and he was one of the sponsors, and I was brought on to just to document
Do the
it.
video, yeah.
Do the video of it, and we got to talking and stuff like that. There, and then we met again at another one that we were also sponsors with, and I had talked to you about him from that one, and then you met him at the one that we also sponsored, and we formed a friendship that way. And then he had already expressed to me that he was getting ready to start a YouTube, and he wanted to incorporate more and more video.
Yeah.
So we worked on our first project yesterday, the first half of our first project, because now I got to do a little ride along, get a day in the life of shoot B-roll. So yeah, it's gonna be just like this, telling his story just for his YouTube and for his website. And since then, he's been a great supporter. Kevin really likes to support small businesses, just like he was mentioning
That's what I was
the
gonna
hat
do
company.
was just a quick shout out, because I mean he doesn't like. Especially with the podcast, as far as that goes, like, he'll interact when he sees our posts and, like or comment or share. Like when we've done the After Darks and stuff, he'll join in. And, that like means even more when it's someone who's not in the laser world, because I always feel like people who join us, probably they like us and they like our like banter and like back and forth. But like it is a lot of times a lot of laser stuff, so I always feel like people are gonna get bored.
Right.
So if people actually wanting to hang out with us
or not be able to relate,
right. So just appreciate the fact that you're supporting another small business. And just there's a million ways to do it for free. Right. And he did all of those.
Proof. Right.
So, just a quick thank you for doing so, because it means a lot. Every little like and comment and like just interaction, just it means a lot, especially right now when all of that engagement seems to be down across the board, for everyone.
Yeah. Attention all laser owners and crafters. Are you tired of spending hours cutting, painting, and assembling laser products? Look no further than Crazy Laser Dad Laser Ready Blanks.
Their high-quality blanks are expertly sourced, tested, and ready to use with your lasers. Say goodbye to the hassle and frustration of time-consuming projects, and hello to more time creating and selling.
Plus, with their wide selection of items, you'll surely find the perfect blank for all your customers.
So, what are you waiting for? Visit crazylaserdad.com today and take your laser crafting to the next level with their laser-ready blanks.
Speaking of all things laser, check out Houston Acrylic at houstonacrylic.com for reliable laser-tested and laser-approved materials.
Made for makers by makers, Houston Acrylic features over 450 styles of acrylic sheets. With over 50 new arrivals being released this month, Houston Acrylic is committed to bringing new and innovative styles to the laser community. My personal favorite is the matte, anything matte, and I feel it's perfect for everything.
Don't forget to save 10% by using our exclusive coupon code TRBP10 at checkout. Get inspired today and visit houstonacrylic.com.
Do it.
No, I fully, when I met you guys, I felt there was, definitely going to be a connection. I felt that we could definitely, grow into a friendship. Whether, and honestly, I wanted it to be more than just networking. We're networking right now, and we're helping each other out, and I'm going to continue to give you guys the shout outs and share your work and share everything that you guys do, because like you said, right now the economy is kind of down. The economy is having a hard time, and every little like, every little share, it helps. And if I can help get you guys more out there. I've got like 475, almost 500 followers on my Facebook for Sledge Epoxy Worx, but I'm starting to get more and more followers on my Instagram. And if I can continue to push small businesses like your guys, media, any business in the area should be working on some sort of media and advertising. If we can that in the local area, you guys are local. I mean, you guys took the opportunity and your time to come up all the way up here from where you are. That's an hour plus drive, and I truly appreciate that. And I'm more than happy to continue using you guys and using your services and doing the shout outs. I like working with you guys. I like the content you guys put out.
Thanks.
And I'm going to continue to support you guys.
Yeah.
So
awesome.
Let's talk about you now.
Yeah.
How did you get into this business? Like, have you always been have you had businesses before? Have you always wanted to be an entrepreneur? Have you always been creative? Tell us a little bit about your background.
Okay. Actually, so I've always been really creative, just not in the sense of construction.
Yeah.
Because in a way, this Sledge Epoxy Worx is considered a flooring and remodeling service.
Mm-hmm.
So it falls in the line of construction, but my background is in mechanics. I've never had a business before. I've always worked for somebody else. I joined the military right out of high school. I did, I did 2 years as a helicopter mechanic. I spent another 4 years as an Abrams tank mechanic. That was actually a lot of fun.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, try to power slide a 70-ton tank going 40 miles an hour around a 90-degree turn.
Yes,
wow.
please.
Yes.
I was going to thank you for your service, but it sounds like you had a lot of fun.
Right.
Yeah. I did a 15-month tour to Iraq, working on remote control tanks, tank bridge layers. I worked with a lot of different teams while I was over there, and there were some shady things that happened, some things that I'm not going to get into. I'm going to leave the past in the past on that one. But came home from Iraq in 2009 after a 15-month tour, and unfortunately I ended up getting hurt. And we said, hey, sorry, bud, it's either you go be administration or you get out. And I'm like, but I'm a mechanic. What do I do? So I chose the route to get out. And the manufacturer of the Abrams battle tank actually picked me up and said, hey, you're one of the youngest guys that we have, or that we can get a hold of, and you have some of the most experience. We know who you are because we worked with you over in Iraq, and you want to come work for us.
Nice.
Yes, please. So I got to hang out a couple blocks away from my old unit on the base in Texas. So I got to still, stay out there and work with them. They sent me over to Kuwait, almost landed back in Iraq. But I wouldn't have been a soldier at the time. I would have just been a civilian contractor.
Yeah.
So it was, when I was over in Kuwait, we had a couple of dignitaries, if you will. We had one of the NFL cheerleading teams. I forget who they were. They came over and they're like, ooh, let's play with the tanks. I got to take them on our test track.
Nice.
Oh, that was a rough day at
work. They actually, there's 3 of them that got the opportunity to get to drive around in the tank while I was driving it, and they felt what a power slide was. So
nice.
Yeah. So like I said, I got in trouble for that, but hey, it was very well worth it.
You got a story to tell.
Yes. Yes. So, as a mechanic, I came home. There really wasn't anything in the States that was picking up, and I really wanted to stay in Texas. So I tried getting in with Caterpillar, working for John Deere, landed with John Deere for a while. Some things happened in the economy, and lo and behold, fire and EMS called my name. So one of the things that I do now with the business is I give discounts to veterans and active duty, as well as first responders. As a former and as a veteran and former first responder myself, I like to give back to the community. I like to give back to those that have given, that have sacrificed their time and whatnot.
Yeah.
It means a lot to me. I've got the tattoos, I've got the experience, I've got friends that have been hurt in the line, and I've been down those roads with those. So I fully understand. I ended up moving from Texas to Florida about a little over 5 years ago, and I started really getting my creativity when the aviation school that I went to said, "Hey, come up with a design for your paint project." So I had to figure something out. And I went to, I've got a bunch of tattoos. I've got friends that draw. What if I do something, it's Florida, a Florida alligator.
Yeah.
John, I'm not sure if you saw my alligator sitting on top of the fridge yesterday. That's George. He was a 10.5-foot alligator that I took back in 2020.
Oh, wow.
During the height of COVID. So he is a natural Florida alligator, stuffed and mounted and on top of my refrigerator. So
it's very Florida of you.
Yes. I don't know if you guys can see too. I have my my Christmas tree still up. I just don't have anywhere else to put it right now.
Nice. One of ours is actually still up because we don't have anywhere to put it.
So I started with the creativity. I've always drawn. I've always tried to build things, and I've always been very hands-on. And I started tinkering around with encasing things in epoxy. Now I've got this Boeing 747 made out of pewter that I encased in epoxy just because I wanted to see how to do it. I wanted to figure it out.
Yeah.
It's just, you get a mold and you're like, oh, let's put this in there and let's figure this out. So, I did that, and then I kind of scaled down a little bit to make some Dungeons and Dragons dice.
Nice.
Got a whole bunch of different colors. I've given them all away, and just because some of my friends are big into the Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
Having custom dice is something that they're like, oh my gosh, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's very big.
So, because Dungeons and Dragons people, none of them have just 1 or 2 or 3 sets. They've got like 8 or 9 or 30 or 40 of them.
Right. It's good for people who sell that stuff.
Right.
There's always a market.
Oh yeah. So I needed to figure out something to do with the extra resin that I was making. And somebody said, hey, why don't you make chess pieces and chessboards? Amazon is filled with all types of different silicone molds. So the epoxy doesn't stick to the silicone.
Right.
It doesn't like it. It'll actually create a barrier around it. So it's kind of it's pretty cool. But I made a bunch of different colored chess pieces and a bunch of chessboards, and I started learning more and more about that. I started doing that almost 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So I got more and more into it. I had a friend of mine, he's still a very good friend of mine. His dad served in the military. And I said, hey, look, I know your birthday's coming up. I want to do something that helps commemorate your military service. Something where you can have your coins and medals and stuff like that on display, that it'll always be on display. You won't have to try and, fish it out of somewhere, to see it, so I ended up making a river table. And, it's got some ammo casing. It's got coins and a bunch of Marine memorabilia, because he spent 20 some years in the Marine Corps.
Yeah.
So, and I gave it to him for free. I put some legs on it, and it sits on it. It sits in his living room right next to his favorite chair.
Nice.
And it's real nice, smooth and slick. He says he's asked if he needs to put a rubber coasters down, because things will slide off of it. The cat tried sliding off of it a couple of times. But yeah, I started doing stuff like that. You guys were talking about the dirty pour paintings and stuff like that with acrylic. Another thing that I tried breaking into too, just to be artsy fartsy.
Yeah.
I took a bunch of canvases and I did some epoxy pour paintings.
Yeah.
Got on one of them yesterday. Yeah. I've had actually a couple people ask me if they can purchase it from me. So I'm just waiting for those to come through. But
yeah,
they're fun. They're simple. You mix the epoxy together. You throw some colors in there. You pour it, and then you just kind of move things around, and it'll really settle.
Yeah.
But I had some. My mom actually said, "Hey, being that you're playing with epoxy, why don't you look at doing countertops? Figure out what it takes to do countertops." Well, she had her countertops done by a professional company. These guys have done a couple thousand countertops over the last several years, and they seemed really nice on the phone. So I'm like, you know what? Look, why not? I'll go learn for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And I learned. I spent 2 days, pouring epoxy and, learning how epoxy actually flows on countertops. And if it's not, if things aren't level, it'll flow off, and, how to get it that glassy look, kind of like marble.
Yeah.
Because if you're going to go and do any sort of countertop work, most people try to go for granite. Well, granite's very expensive.
Yeah.
I would not want to put granite in my house if I can do epoxy.
Yeah.
Because I think you guys have the same layout and the same size house I do.
Same house.
Yeah. Gotta love our home builder. But for a fraction of the price, and when I mean a fraction, our countertops would cost us almost $8,000.
Yeah.
To replace and put granite in.
Welcome to the revolution in laser engraving. Introducing Lens Digital, the creators of the game-changing hybrid rotary attachment. With the hybrid 4.0, you can turn ordinary cups, tumblers, glasses, and more into extraordinary masterpieces. Looking to engrave niche items or want the functionality of a chuck rotary? Look no further than the Pyron Grip, Lens Digital's chuck-style rotary. With a range of different size jaws, you can easily engrave a wide variety of items. All Lens Digital products are compatible with most CO2 and galvo lasers and were designed specifically for the laser industry. All that paired with the best-in-class customer support, Lens Digital is your one-stop shop for all of your rotary needs. Transform your laser engraving game with Lens Digital, where makers succeed. Unleash your creativity today. And don't forget, we are proud Lens Digital affiliates as well. If you're shopping, code Riley Black will take $50 off any order of $600 or more.
Hey there, podcast listeners. How great would it feel if this was the year you finally got to escape your 9-to-5 to embrace your lifestyle of creativity and entrepreneurship?
Every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern, Eon Laser USA invites you to join the Freedom to Create webinar, where you'll learn how to make this a reality.
Join leading laser industry professional and brand ambassador Emily, aka That Mom with a Laser, and Eon Laser USA's sales manager Alicia as they dive into all things Eon.
Learn about the advantages of owning an Eon Laser and get the scoop on Eon's rewards and partner benefits.
Plus, get a glimpse at how everyday people who started out with zero experience paid off their lasers, scaled their businesses, and transformed their lifestyles.
So if you're ready for a lifestyle change, head over to eonlaser.us/whyus and sign up for the Freedom to Create webinar today.
Thanks for listening. Laser on.
Well, we actually had granite at our old house. It was a flip.
Yeah.
And it was a granite, and we hated it because we didn't realize how high maintenance it was to take care of. We stained it. We didn't even know, we didn't know we had to use specific cleaners on it. And the cleaners we were using, kind of ruined it in a way because it took away its natural barrier. I don't know what. And then it stained really easily. And then once you stained it, trying to get that stain out, I hated it because it was porous. So it was if you left something on the counter, especially if it was oily or it was always right next to the stove.
Yeah.
The splashback and stuff.
And we didn't exactly have we found out the hard way. We didn't have a quality flipper. So I'm sure he went with as far as sealing it and stuff like that, I'm sure he cut corners everywhere he could.
Yeah,
so.
It was pretty, but it was a pain.
It was a pain.
Yeah, with all the with epoxy, and granite alone, that it is so expensive to try and keep clean, and then you have to seal it every so often.
Right.
That's the difference between granite and even laminate. Laminate, you can clean the stuff off, and you can use a scouring pad, and you'll remove some of the finish a little bit, but when it comes to but even then, even if you switch from granite to laminate, you're still paying a hefty penny. And then you got your entire kitchen looks like a construction zone.
Yeah.
And it sucks because now you have to repaint, now you have to recaulk, you have to get everything, completely reinstalled. And most of the time, the only thing that when I go into a house and I talk to customers that want their countertops done, I tell them, look, the only thing that I cannot do is remove your sink and any water features. Most sinks, I know my sink, it sits on top of the countertop. So there are people that have the recessed sink where it's where it mounts to the underside. And those are, I want to say those are actually a little bit more difficult for me to do, just because trying to get a tape barrier, the plastic to hold properly, it's better off to remove the entire sink, turn the water off down at the valves, remove the clamps from the underside of the sink and the underside of the countertop, pull the whole sink out. Leave it in the garage. You can do your your dishes in a bathroom sink, or it's to have your sink out for about 3 or 4 days isn't that big of a deal.
Yeah.
Right. Especially with the finished product.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we considered doing epoxy in the old house, didn't we? I know I
don't
looked
know.
into it.
You might have looked into it and just forgot to tell me about it.
Yeah. I think we talked about it, but I just looked into it and it was a lot more, because, they, especially then, I don't know if it was during COVID or not, but no, it wasn't during COVID because we were with the granite during COVID. But I mean, I've always been very crafty. And so seeing people, I have the unfortunate trait of I see someone do it and now I'm like, oh, I can do that, and not realizing how hard things actually are, and they make it look easy because they've been doing it for years and years and years. But I've gone on the epoxy spiral many times. And I did look into it, I think at our old house when I wanted when we wanted new countertops and stuff, and I was wondering you're
talking about in Colorado.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a whole. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Then I think we might have been.
Yeah, because you hated that tile.
I hated our countertops.
From the moment we moved in, you hated that.
Before we even put in an offer on the house, I was like, that tile sucks. The only thing that saved that tile was that it was black and white.
Yeah.
But if it was any other color, it probably would have been gone. But yeah, so I had looked into all the options of like what to do, and I just love the look of the epoxy and like the faux veining and stuff. Like I can get on a doom scroll of any kind of epoxy stuff very easily.
Yeah, and it definitely changes the look, because I didn't realize that we had the same floor plan. Because when I walked in and we were like looking like where to shoot, and everything, I noticed his counter, his island, and it's just that like glassy finish, and I'm like, man, that looks really nice.
Yeah,
like it really does. And then I'm like, oh wait, this island's here, that's there, that's. I'm like, this is like art. I'm like, is this so? Yeah. So yeah, it definitely makes a difference, and it is a show style when you see it. It's just it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people they like the difference. It does have that glassy finish to it. It does have the that shine to it. My lights are bouncing off of it, and I really don't have the best of lighting in the living room or the kitchen. But I tell you what, you can definitely take a cold beer and slide it across, just like, old school bar, they got it waxed down, and, the 100-yard bar, one of those. But, with the whole color change and that subtle veining, some people really like the stuff where the light veins, the different, the slight grays or blacks, and they like that. There's other people that want it a little bit more bold. So, it's really anybody's preference.
Yeah.
And that's something that I love about epoxy is you can take a countertop that you absolutely hate or a garage floor that's basic, bare bones, concrete gray.
This one right here. The first thing I said to him when I met him was, I wish we could do our floor, but we have too much shit in the garage, and there's no way we're moving it.
But it's cool because you can custom create the colors.
Yeah.
Like my countertops are, the Formica white and gray manufactured countertops.
Yep, we got those.
Yeah. Every house that the home manufacturer that we have puts in, it's all the same because they're all cookie homes.
Right. Yeah.
You hire a company like Sledge Epoxy Worx to come in, and we can change your countertops.
Right.
I'm talking anywhere between a fifth to maybe a quarter of what it would cost for having granite to be put in.
Yeah.
The cool part is, as I'm pouring the epoxy, we can add the different colors, and we can add the different areas. We can move things around. If you don't, if you like some gray over here and some gold over here, we can do those different accents. When you go with granite or a Formica countertop, you don't have to slab that good.
Yeah.
You pick out a slab and go, all right, cool, I want that. And they're going to cut it to the dimensions, but you don't know what you're going to get and where those lines are, or exactly what you're going to see. And, some of my customers, I had one, she's, sorry, I got a Charlie horse, but not enough water. But anyway, my first paying customer is actually one of my mom's really close friends. She's worked with her in the past, and I think she still works with her now. But they had a company come in, do epoxy countertops. And unfortunately, that company cut a lot of corners.
Yeah.
When you cut corners, it leaves an inferior product, an inferior finish.
Yeah.
When you're literally able to see hair, you're able to see dried epoxy mixed into your top layer, that had flaked off from, old rollers and things like that.
Right.
It doesn't look right. I always use brand new rollers. You know, I'll wear a hairnet if I have to. Most of the time, I'm trying to get a haircut well before I even go, you know, to these jobs, just because, you know, I don't want my hair to land in the
crazy that you got to think about that.
Right? I would have never thought of that.
Yeah. So, you know, there's a lot of different things that you learn the more you do it. But anyway, so my mom's friend, you know, they're like, look, these people, they came in, they did a really bad job. We want our countertops redone. First time I went in, I knew who they were. I've met them in the past. They're great, amazing people. I'm very thankful for them. They just left me a really awesome Google review.
So your first paid job was fixing or like redoing someone else's bad work.
Yeah.
That's not nerve-wracking at all.
Right.
No, it's not. You know, but I mean, I did my own countertops when I first learned how to, like a couple days after I got out of that class.
Yeah.
But, you know, I made some mistakes with my mom's friend's countertops. So I went back and I redid it. I didn't charge them anything more.
Right.
Just because, you know, they paid me. They knew where I worked. They knew where I lived. You know, they know who I came from.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So
they know where to find you.
Yes. You know, and so I went back and I redid their countertops, and my mom's friend is absolutely in love with them.
Yeah.
You know, she's like, ooh, I want to partake in making some of these designs. She said, I want hazelnut. I want black. I want gold. I want silver. Ooh, I want a little bit more shiny.
Yeah.
You know, she loves the shine. So, man, I tell you what, some of y'all women, you love the shine.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
and the glitter?
Listen,
gotta have the glitter. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you when we contact you. Not if. It's when we contact you for ours. Just load up on like the glitter and the shiny.
Black and the
Oh,
glitter.
I got you on the glitter, the black, and
this one. The more sparkles.
Hold on. We've forgot to give these wonderful shoes the shout out they deserve.
Their shine.
Literally shine. Like, I mean.
Oh my! Are those bedazzled?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yes.
And before we had these mics, we had the mics on mic stands.
Oh, my mic stand is over there.
The base, she bedazzled with
base.
Black.
Yeah.
That takes time.
Oh yeah, she
was.
was.
That's dedication,
she was there
right there.
And it's one of those things that doesn't show on camera. They were black. It was black on black, so it's like you're not really gonna see it. But she was like, I gotta do this.
Yeah.
And one by one.
And I'm sad. Those shoes are on the shelf because my feet suck. They hurt in most shoes. So I was pretty sure they wouldn't go well, but I was like, I gotta try. And then I got them, and at first they didn't hurt right away. And then I started walking. I was like, oh no, these aren't gonna work. And I was like, but I don't want to return them.
I already knew they weren't gonna go back. So I'm like, listen, worst case, we'll put it on the set.
Yeah.
And there you go. There they are.
So yeah, give me all the sparkle and shine.
Oh yeah. No. You know, my mom's friend, they love being able to partake in the countertop, and you know, came back the next day, you know, like I do for all countertops, because they take 2 days, right? You go in, you do all your prep work, you pour the epoxy, and it takes, you know, 16 to 20 hours for the epoxy to cure so that you can actually touch it. Normally, I like to wait almost 24 hours after I pour, just because it gives it that much more extra time to cure. But, you know, they were looking, you know, my mom's friend was looking at her countertops, absolutely in love with finding dragons and shrimp and boats and skulls and all kinds of stuff, you know, and it's all the design that she made with the colors that I mixed up for her. Yeah. I poured the epoxy. She took control of the creativity. And I always offer that to my clients. And she goes, there's not enough sparkle. I go, what would you like me to do about that? She goes, can I get a sparkly top coat? Ooh. I said, absolutely. And so I came back the next weekend because I had to get some. I order all of my epoxy to order. So if you guys were to call me and say today and say, hey, I would like to have my countertops done.
Right.
It takes me a couple of days to get the epoxy. I'd have to either run down to Fort Lauderdale to pick it up, or I'd have to have them ship it up. Which I'm off work tomorrow and Friday, so I'd be able to do that no problem. But I got some of this sparkle. My Lord, she is in love with her countertops. Her mornings, she wakes up, she makes her coffee, she sits at her countertops and she plays with her countertops, like draws on it with her finger, and she looks at it in different lights and she plays with the sparkle. Like the sparkle's built in, it's already there. It's completely sealed in.
Yeah.
But she absolutely loves it. She tells all of her friends that come over.
Well, and it's great that you're able to pass that experience on to your customers. So kind of like with laser stuff, the reason they come to us is because they want something custom. They want something unique. They want something that, their friend doesn't have, or something that's particular to their tastes and likes and colors and all of that. And so similar with epoxy, they get to make it exactly what they want, and it's not just what the builder gave them or what the previous owners thought was cool or whatever
from a catalog.
Exactly.
Like you kind of create. You can be. You're part of the creative process.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love when customers like to have they like to partake in it because they allow they're allowing themselves to be creative.
Yeah.
And they get to take pride in it that, yes, they did pay for somebody else to do it, but they created that little design. They chose those colors. They chose where all that stuff went.
Right.
And they got to see how epoxy spreads out and turns different colors and creates these little cells. And I've seen some epoxy where it'll literally look like a school of jellyfish swimming through.
Yeah.
And it's just the way the epoxy, whatever you do with it, kind of creates its own thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in love. There's a picture that you have. It's a garage because there's a water heater in the corner. But it's almost like this rust ombre mirror look. It's so cool.
That's actually my own garage floor.
That's your garage floor?
Yeah.
Old garage.
No, my current garage floor. So when you came over yesterday, I had my garage floor in two different ways. I had it in the flake, and then I had it in the metallic. And before I moved everything back into the garage, the metallic side, it had that blue, orange, gray, black, almost like a smoky look. And I actually realized as I did that, I didn't have enough epoxy. I didn't have enough coloring, but it still glassed out the way I was hoping it would. And it gave it that gnarly, awesome shine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that's the metallic type of flooring. It's very similar to the countertop stuff. It just, that type of epoxy, it takes more to do the bigger areas. And when you're trying to figure it out and you really don't have any experience doing it, you have to make your phone calls. You have to look online. You have to do research.
Yeah.
And the more research,
and the classes. I mean, I think, it's awesome that you started with the classes because, I mean, that can really like snowball something for someone. It can, my mom took like cake decorating classes when I was younger and stuff like that. And that can, doing those classes can kind of, if you think you have an interest in something, find a local class and go do it and see, like, actually, like, get an experience for it and see if it's like, oh, maybe it might fuel that, or it may be like, oh, this is not exactly what I thought it was going to be, and could like kind of maybe not talk you out of it, but like kind of put you in a different direction when maybe that isn't what you thought it was going to be, and you don't put all your eggs in that basket before you really figure out if it's for you or not.
You don't enjoy the process.
Right.
Yeah. And then the classes give you the confidence to like explore more and play more.
Yeah, because something I've noticed, at least with people, laser owners who also do epoxy work, is they see the finished product, but they don't realize what all goes into it, and like the PPE that you need to wear when you're working with it, and how like, and mixing it with wood, sometimes you actually need to do like a clear like brush coat base when you're mixing epoxy with like a laser cut wood edge. It can actually create like bubbles and stuff that people don't know about, but there's like a lot of like things that go into it. And again, if you're watching someone else who's been doing it for years and years and years, it looks easy, and then you try it and you're like, whoa, maybe not. But and what kind of talked me out of it was the drying time, for one, and like keeping hair and particles and that kind of stuff away. And I was like, nah, I'm totally gonna like have some, I was thinking for paintings, I'm gonna have some piece that I'm like in love with, and then a hair's gonna get in there, because I couldn't keep it like hair and dust free, in our house with two dogs.
To see that hair, and it'll drive you crazy.
Exactly, and for me, it would ruin it.
Yeah.
So, and then if you add in the fact that if it's a commissioned work where like someone's paying you, and then just the amount of time that can take to, do it and dry and cure and whatever. So there's a lot that goes into it. But, doing a class like that could show you like, oh, okay, this is for me, or this class showed me that it's not for me.
I always tell, like I know you guys have seen some of my videos, and I do shout outs to small businesses and other businesses, and even some of the vendors that I have. The vendors that I have for the epoxy, they put on those classes, and some of them put it on for free, because they want to make sure that, for one, they can, they're able to show you how to actually do it, because these guys have been in the industry. They've been doing the epoxy and the concrete coatings for years.
Right.
So they know a lot of the ins and outs. They have a lot of the knowledge. They may not know absolutely everything, but they know how to find that information out. But, when they put on these courses, they go through, the different tools you need. They go through the prep work. They go through what it takes, what you should wear, what you should look out for. And some of these classes, some of these guys, they put it on, they put the training on for free, because it's either, like you said, is it for me, or is it something that I should just let a professional do, because maybe I'm not quite that, artistic, or maybe I really don't want to invest that much into something like that. And doing the epoxy, I absolutely love it. It's the prep work kind of sucks because it is dirty. You get a lot of dust. I've looked like a sugar cookie multiple times.
I love it.
And my buddy John, John, you've met him. He was at the after hours realtor event. He's come out and he's helped me out. He helped me out with his own garage, the green and black garage.
Oh yeah,
that was his garage. And I did a video, and I said, hey, John's over here looking like a dusted sugar cookie. His wife comes out in the garage after he's looking like that, and she goes, get away from me. He goes, honey, come here.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, he understands what it takes as far as the prep work and putting it down, and it's something that he wants to get involved with more and more. He knows that I'm vested with everything, financially and all, and he knows I've got the equipment, but he wants to eventually be partner. which would be
Yeah.
fantastic. You know, having somebody that understands what it takes and understands. He doesn't quite know all of the, you know, all the chemicals and all the chemical makeup and why we would use like a polyurethane or over a polyurea or a polyaspartic or a moisture vapor barrier or doing any of this other stuff.
Right.
There's a lot of different things, a lot of different options out there. But when you go to these classes, you learn that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and the more you talk to some of these people that are in these classes with you, you understand that, you know, they've got, you know, some of these people, they've been painting garage floors with stuff that you're able to find, you know, a big box store.
Right.
And unfortunately, it's a paint. It's not the 2-part epoxy.
Right.
That a professional, you know, somebody who's trained and has
Right.
certificates and, you know, several, you know, 20, 30 hours of actual training with companies that provide the material and that sell the material and put on the training.
Yeah.
Then, you know, so it's interesting. You know, now you guys do the laser, and what do you guys use for a program? Like I work with CNC work with CNC routers and ply cutters and stuff.
Right.
For my day job.
Yeah.
And I've got a very good friend of mine that he's got a like a 20 by 30 bed CNC laser. I think it's a CO2 laser. It's either a CO2 laser or I think it's actually a fiber optic laser.
20 inches by 30.
Yeah, it's something like that.
That's likely a CO2 because most fibers are actually much smaller as far as like the work they do. So we have a CO2
smaller or huge.
Yeah.
Because the bigger fibers, they actually cut through.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah, they can.
So he has one that it'll cut through like 1/8 inch plywood.
Yeah. So mine, I have a CO2 laser. My bed is about, I might get this wrong, 35 at the widest and 24. I don't know. I'm a terrible laser owner and affiliate. I feel like it's bigger than that. But anyway, so I don't know that because I don't do a lot of big stuff.
Nope.
I do a lot of small stuff, so the dimensions don't really matter as much to me. But I think it's 24 by 35 is my cut area.
It's a great size to put a camera inside be able to shoot while it's
and
cutting.
Still have room to cut
and be able to close it.
And then we also have a fiber laser, and that's much smaller, and that'll primarily be used just to mark metal.
I got you.
Yeah.
Is that the X tool that you just got?
No, that one is actually, I need to actually learn more about it because I just know that everyone loves it, but I don't know a ton of the details yet. Okay. But yeah, X Tool actually reached out to me and they were like, you know, hey, you know, we like your stuff. And I'm like, hey, I like your stuff. I want one of those F1s. But so the F1 is actually a diode laser. It's a different type of laser. And then it also has an IR laser as well. And I don't know a ton about the IR part of it.
And in my research, someone called it a galvo. So there's mirrors in there and it's like a galvo something meat. I don't know what it's called.
Galvo servo?
That, I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called.
That's the motors that it uses, I think, usually.
Yeah. So.
I'm not the greatest with the technical stuff.
But it's a cute little machine.
It is. And I can't wait to use it to like just test keychain blanks and metal. And it will be slower than the fiber, but it's more plug and play and it's a lot easier to learn. And so as far as your original question was software, so each laser kind of has their own software typically that they come with. And so you'll have your software that runs the laser, and then you'll also have potentially your software that you use to make the designs. And they aren't always the same. So like My
They
CO2
they're not always compatible.
Right. And so my CO2 laser, it's run on light burn.
Right.
And you can design in light burn. It's very capable. A lot of people do. But I know Silhouette, which is actually Silhouette Studio Business Edition. It's actually for vinyl cutters. And that's where I started, was vinyl cutting. And so I already knew that software, so I was comfortable with it. And I hate learning new softwares. So I didn't have to. I use Silhouette to do my designing, and then Lightburn just strictly basically to run the laser. And the fiber, it actually runs on Lightburn as well. But that's new. It originally, Lightburn didn't work on fiber lasers yet.
Right. EasyCAD
is the
software that you can design but runs the laser.
Yeah.
And by runs the laser, meaning you can start the job and like you can actually control the laser
put your
through
settings
the software.
in. Yeah.
And then so you basically, so a lot of people use like, well, I mean, I don't know if a lot of people, but you have your designing software, like Art Illustrator is another one that Adobe Illustrator that a lot of people use. And then, you export that file and then bring it into the software that runs it. But those softwares are also capable of designing.
Right.
It's just a matter of it's a lot of people coming from one or another.
Well, and their capabilities.
Right.
So like you can maybe do some like quick designs in there, but will you maybe have access to all of your fonts, or will you be able to, I use what's called offsets a lot, which is with this keychain. So it's like you probably can't see it, Kevin, but there's letters here. And then I have an offset that's kind of like just the shape around the layers or the letters. And some don't necessarily either create that or create it well or to my preferences. So little things like it maybe can do some things, but is it the right tool for the job that you're doing at that time? So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with CAD and CAM programs.
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot of that stuff when I was in high school, and I took a CAD engineering program. It was like 2 hours a day, my entire senior year, and I got to learn how CNCs work.
Nice.
So my day job. They've kind of given me, in a way, a free rein they've given me a couple of larger machines. So I've got like a 10-foot by 5-foot CNC router bed that can cut 6 to 12 inches thick of material.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
That's
a big
crazy.
thing. I have done some pretty cool stuff on that. And then they've given me a vinyl cutter or a ply cutter. We can cut fabric, we can cut vinyl, we cut all types of different plastic. I've been able to cut cork and rubber on that thing because it's got a roll blade, but all of that stuff, it runs off of, I'm not sure if you're familiar with DXF files.
I have heard of them, yeah.
So they're similar to, people that run like 3D printers. I love what 3D printers do. Yeah. I want to get one so bad, and I want to get a laser in the house. I've been looking at the X tool, and I've been looking at Laser Pecker. So
the 3D printer that you should look at if you haven't already, I think is it the Bamboo?
Yes, Bamboo. We have 3 of those in our shop. They're the carbon one.
Yeah. The newer ones where like it's like a self-leveling bed almost. So it's kind of like they're like the plug and play 3D printer of the 3D printer world, because part of the reason, there's many reasons I haven't gotten a 3D printer yet. But part of the reason is that kind of like the cheaper lasers, they require you to be more mechanical and like patient and willing to like tinker with it and
All
like
things she's not.
you know, yeah. And I do not have. I lost my shit today when I couldn't get the lighting right on a damn picture I was gonna take. So yeah, I'm not a tinkerer when it comes to that kind of stuff. And so seeing those that make it, you know, easier for the end user who may not be more mechanically inclined, like that's the route I'm gonna go. But yeah, those new bamboo printers, they're wearing on me. They're making it harder and harder not to get one. The thing, I don't have anywhere to put it, but if I had somewhere to put it, it would be in my house right now.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting one and starting to make some of my logos.
Yeah.
Be able to put up and you know, to help kind of make some signage and stuff for, you know, business card holders or stuff like that.
Yeah.
You can make some keychains out of it, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
That way, you know, when I go and see customers or potential clients, or I go to a craft fair or something and I'm a vendor there, you know, I can hand it out
as a giveaway.
As a giveaway, you know.
So with your business, so you're kind of like in the infancy, I guess, of starting it, and like what's your like big ultimate goal? Because like you did mention right now you do have a day job, and hopefully day job isn't listening if your eventual goal is to, you know, not do that, because you've always worked for someone else, or you know, you're in the military and stuff. Do you eventually hope that this will be your full time? And then how do you balance the two right now?
So yes, I do I want my business to go full time. That is the goal. That's the short term goal. I'm hoping within the next 3 to 4 months to be able to do that, to bring in enough business to where I can, you know, offer, instead of just doing the weekends, you know, and doing the work on the weekends, I want to be able to do it during the week. You know, there's a lot of clients that, you know, they can take a day off of work during the week to have the work done. It is difficult running having the day job where I'm working 50, 60 hours a week, Monday through Friday, and then having the business where I'm doing things on the evenings, and I'm doing stuff, you know, on the weekends, whether it be advertising, whether it be going and giving estimates, or actually going out and doing work, you know, cleaning the equipment and prepping for the next job. But the long-term goal, I want to be able to hire a bunch, you know, 2 or 3 crews, have them go out, you know, have them make their money, you know, and be able to open up a storefront, you know.
That'd be awesome.
And over here in this area, there is not a epoxy or a coatings store that you can go in and readily buy a you know, countertop epoxy or concrete epoxy or anything like that. And it's something I want to eventually do. I want to open it up. I want to have stock with, you know, with a bunch of these different manufacturers, and be able to sell some of the equipment too.
Yeah.
You know, I want to be able to have a workspace where I can bring people in, you know, guys that have been in the industry, you know, 10, 15 years, and have them come in, be guest speakers, and teach a class. You know, I'll take care of them. I'll pay them to do it. And, you know, you know, I'd love to be able to have, you know, people like you guys come in and do some of the videography and photos and whatnot. And, you know, have a bunch of people come in and actually learn how to do epoxy. You know, I am a certified installer for Rubber Rock, which is a rubberized granulars. A lot of people are using them for playgrounds and running tracks and pool decks and things like that.
Nice.
And that was another class that I took. So I'm certified to install, certified to buy. They won't sell it to just anybody.
Wow.
You know, they won't sell the product to just anybody. You have to be one of their installers and one of their dealers to be able to purchase it, to install it. So it's kind of nice to have that backing. But I want to be able to have, you know, there are a couple other contractors in the area that do it as well. So to have an all-in-one store that people come to and go, hey, I need this. Hey, I need that. Hey, can I order this? Hey, can I order that? And that way, yes, I can have somebody run the store. I can go out and check on my guys. I can do some work on my own as well, work with the guys. But, I want to make a living wage.
Yep.
And that's one of the reasons why my prices are, I'm not going to say they're cheap, but they're not undercutting anybody. They match the industry standard.
Yeah.
When I go out, I make sure that the other people, they say that their competition, some of the other businesses that are doing the epoxy as well, I make sure I know what they're offering and what they're charging people. Because we go based off of square footage.
Yeah.
Right.
And some of the companies do just the flooring. Some of them paint, some of them do exterior work, some of them, do interior, and they do demo and all this other stuff. And some of them, they talk about ripping out cabinets and doing full kitchen remodels and putting in new countertops. My business is a little bit different. I have the flooring, but I also have the countertops. And I've talked to a couple of these guys. I'm like, hey, look, what exactly do you guys offer? Because this is what I offer. And I've actually had two guys say, hey, look, I've got a client that's looking to have their countertops done. We don't do countertops. And I'm like, here's my business card. Let them know.
Right.
So
that's huge. I mean, as far as like the laser world, we try when possible. Obviously there's still boundaries and stuff, but like community over competition, even within your own industry, is huge, because if you niche down, that means that there's a lot that you don't do, and it allows you to be professional at your craft and the things you enjoy doing and the services you enjoy providing. But then it gives you that network of people who do like doing the other stuff, or the stuff that you don't enjoy doing. I love, like, when someone comes to me and they're like, oh, I want this. I love being able to say, I don't do that, but I know someone who does, like hats. The best way to do hats is to have a good hat press. I don't have space for a hat press. I don't have like the time. I hate how it's like cutting and like engraving leather smells. So just like hats aren't my thing. So I have friends who basically only do hats. But, having that network where you can support each other's business, and then, hopefully if they have someone who, I don't know, wants acrylic keychains or whatever it is that I do, they can come to me. But, it's important to have that even within your industry. Yeah, no, I've definitely been networking with a lot of people, and they've called me, I've called them. And some of them I've worked with, some of them it's just been, guidance. Yeah. Being so new into the industry, as of tomorrow, I'll have been in business for a full year. Nice. So, congrats.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Happy year anniversary.
And happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Happy birthday.
I appreciate that. Big 38 today. Yay.
It's only downhill from here. I promise.
I remember when.
It gets more awesome as like a business owner.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, it'll be good this year. There's a lot of really cool things coming. I'm staying very positive and optimistic.
Yeah.
Business will pick up. I know the economy it's hard right now on everybody. And I'm dropping my prices down, to help people out, to make it a little bit more affordable.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm not in it to make $1 million. Would it be nice to make $1 million?
Of course, right.
100%.
Yeah.
But I'm not in it to, try and, swindle people out of as much money as I can.
Right.
Everybody wants to do a home renovation. They want to make their house their own.
Right.
And that's something that I provide. It's, my logo has it where design meets durability.
Nice.
So it's something that, you have the design of the epoxy and you have the durability of that epoxy.
Yeah.
As long as you take care of it, as long as as long as you're not sitting there trying to take a knife or a butcher
right.
cleaver
using it as a cutting board.
Yeah. It can be fixed. Nice part is it can be fixed, but unfortunately when you do a fix, you got to re-pour everything.
Right. Yep.
So the color is going to be a little bit different, each time, but it's a lot easier than going out and replacing your countertops.
I'm excited to see your growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm excited for that day that we get to see that you get to post and say, hey, I'm doing this full time. And,
I am too. That's, it's going to be a big day. I've been with my day job for almost 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with what I do.
I was going to say, it's not that you don't not like what you're doing. Yeah.
I just, it's time for me. I've never owned my own business before. To have a business that has grown and that has made, some money, like I said, it's a niche. Mm-hmm. I enjoy what I do. And, they say, if you don't enjoy what you do, find something you do enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And if you enjoy what you do for a living, you won't work a day in your life.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I enjoy doing the epoxy. I just needed to go full time.
Yep.
And
it'll
be a lot better, a lot more inner peace.
Yeah.
And being a business owner, you guys know it's hard. It's a struggle, but
it's not for the weak.
No. The more you do it, the more, and in a way, it's the more you struggle and care about your business, the more you'll appreciate when the fruits of your labor come to fruition.
For sure.
And things really start to blossom and bloom and and things really start picking up. It's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing.
Right. I did that.
Breathe. Yeah. And you know what? Yes, I still got to stress about it because it's my business and nobody else is going to care about my business the way I do.
Right.
Right.
But now I'm able to do the things I want to do. I'm able to, I'm able to plan myself to be able to, go on a vacation, once or twice a year and not have to say, hey, can I go?
We were just saying that for the one that we went on in December, it was nice to not have to ask for leave or make sure he had enough vacation hours or, we didn't have to ask anybody to go. It was just whether we could go or not was if we had the funds. It was not there was no one telling us yes or no. So having that freedom to do so is just, it's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you have, down the road, when you have systems in place to where even when you do take that time off, it's still running.
Yep.
I can't wait to get that feeling.
Me too, because right now everything shuts down the second we're gone.
Yeah. Right, for sure.
Yeah. And that's one thing that I want to be able to do, and eventually I'll have my 2 or 3 crews. I'll have, a couple of salesmen going out and, finding the jobs and whatnot. I'll have somebody in the office. Yeah. I'll have a supervisor that'll be able to take over. And really what I'd love to be able to do is be able to have all my guys, everybody that's on my team be able to say, you know what, guys, let's plan a week in the spring or plan a week in the fall where we all just take off of work for the week.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, I want to be able to, pay for these guys to be able to go, have them, be able to continue to make the money that they were going to be making anyway,
Right.
but be able to go on a vacation if they want to, or even stay home and not have to worry about working for a week,
right,
and still have that income. It's just like it's like a free vacation.
Yeah, and basically, if we ever have employees, we want it to still be an enjoyable place for these employees to come. We want it to, still have
so they don't leave and start their own stuff.
Exactly.
Like we did.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. So where can people find you if they want to learn about epoxy, or if they're local to Florida and they want some fancy countertops or floors?
So you can find us on sledgeepoxyworx.com, SledgeEpoxyWorx.com. You can find us on Facebook at Sledge Epoxy Worx. Find us on Instagram at Sledge Epoxy 86. I do live feeds, and I do post videos and pictures of all the work that I do. And I just started a YouTube channel. So I'm really excited about that. Really picking up with that. My handle is at Sledge Epoxy Worx, no space, no underscore or anything like that, all lowercase. And then I also have a Twitter that I just figured out what my handle on Twitter is. It's sledge.epoxy.worx.
Cool.
So with all the videos that we've been doing, and that I've been making, using the software, CapCut and stuff like that. The videos that I'll be getting from you guys, trying to do all the advertisement and whatnot. Everything will be made available for people to see on those sites. Again, sledgeepoxyworx.com, Instagram, Facebook.
Well, and
Twitter,
the website's
YouTube.
new too, right?
So the website will be the current website that people see right now is the former website that I had. New website's getting ready to drop within the next 24 hours. So I'm really
awesome. So it should be up by the time this airs.
Yep. I'm really excited. So, and I have a floor visualizer on that website where you can actually take a picture of your floor, or you can look at one of the stock options that we have, and you can go through all the different options that we offer.
Fancy.
So if you want like a blue, black, white flake floor, we have that option. You can actually see what your floor will look like.
That's pretty cool.
If you want to, look to see what a rubber floor would look like, take a picture of your patio, or the playground, and look through the different colors. And we've got blue and orange and purple and pink and red and green, and like it's really cool.
That's cool.
But that's a visualizer. If the website is down for service, for serving, servers or anything like that, I do have another option, but people can also get a hold of me, via phone. You can find me on Google, Yelp. There's all kinds of different stuff out there. And we don't just do the residential work. We do the commercial, industrial, and we're registered to be able to take on government service too.
Nice.
So
that's awesome.
Cool.
As a service disabled veteran-owned small business. Registered.
Say that 3 times fast.
Right? I don't think I can. I'll get tongue twisted. I get tongue twisted just thinking about it.
Right.
But I am registered. I am licensed.
Cool.
We're not yet bonded, but we're working on that. And like I said at the beginning, we give discount to veteran and first responder, as well as returning customers, and we'll do referral discounts as well. So
great.
We travel all over the state. So if you guys want us to come out and take a look out in Tampa, or even down in Bonita Springs, we'll go. We'll make the drive. It may be a couple days before I can get there, but it'll happen. We'll make it happen. We'll get you taken care of.
Awesome.
Give us a shout, give us a call. email, text. We answer normally within just a few hours. If it's middle of the night, you may have to wait until the next
to the morning. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
But we will answer. We will respond. And professionalism and integrity and honor is a big thing with my business, as veteran owned. So and we're going to continue to do shout outs to people like you guys, Riley Black Media, Riley Black Project.
Appreciate it.
And you guys are amazing, and I really appreciate you guys having me here.
Yeah. Thanks for
podcast with you guys.
Yeah, thanks for spending an hour with us, and you guys stay right there, and we'll be right back with the Riley Black. It's not the end of the show. See, I haven't done the show in a week, and we'll be right back with the life update. Yeah. And we are back. Yeah. So
we made it.
Yeah. As you heard, Riley Black Media is doing really well. I did an interview with him, and
you got on with a realtors group, and you have some things coming up with them, and exciting stuff.
Momentum's going, and because there was a minute there, and I told him
I'm still scared, but
no, for sure. But there's still momentum. But I was telling him, because he was kind of picking my brain on being an entrepreneur, and starting your own company. I'm like, because he asked me how freeing is. I'm like, okay, listen, here's the thing. So it's great.
Yeah.
But it's nerve wracking.
Yeah.
Because
all the time
everything's on you now. Before, I just had to show up to work, do my job,
and you got your paycheck.
And every 2 weeks I got paid. And now I'm at the mercy of clients. There's a bunch of interest, but no one's signing on the dotted line. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, all that. So
it's figuring all that out.
We persevered through all of that, and it seems to have paid off. And so we just gotta keep on keeping on. And Vegas
just keep swimming.
Vegas was amazing.
Awesome. Yep.
Yeah, it was super fun with just
a lot of house rules.
Yeah,
but
the house rules were something. We set off the noise monitor a couple times. We were literally just
we played an awesome game. What was the name of that game? That was an awesome
I don't know.
game.
It was kind of like almost like Pictionary, but you were given a word, and then you draw it, and then they have to guess the word by
And then at the end, you go through the progression of what it's almost like Pictionary meets telephone.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you go through the progression. Fun. It was a whole bunch of fun.
But it was too much fun because we set off the noise monitor and got a warning. Yeah. But that means that you had a good time. So
Yep. Vegas was fun. We got to see our
8 close friends, and
we got to see the venue where we got married.
Yeah, we drove by. It's sad.
Yeah, because it closed.
Because it was already been started to
R.I.P.
be demoed.
Yeah, but we were able to see the front where we walked in, and then we were able, when we drove around the back, we were able to see the pool.
What's left of the chapel.
Of the chapel and the pool area where we took pictures.
Sorry. What? There's a gnat or something.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought I saw something crawling on my mic, and I didn't know what it was. Yeah. So, all right, we're good.
Yeah. So, yeah.
All right.
And if you're this far, it's creeping up, but Tulsa's around the corner.
Oh my God, I'm not ready.
Tulsa's
I gotta get it
around the corner.
Yeah.
So we'll see you all there.
Yeah, I'm excited.
And with that, it's been another great episode of the Riley Black Project. Chris and John.
Bye.
Mamie, we're all done.